Hello everyone. Today I want to talk to you guys about my 13-inch AR pistol and my 11.5-inch AR pistol. And if you don't have AR pistols in these lengths, it's definitely something that you should consider because these things are lots of fun. Okay, so first let me start with the 13-inch here. So the 13-inch, it's 13 inches. This started off as a 7.5 inch. Okay, and I have other 7.5 inch AR pistols. What I find is that usually with the 7.5s, the best I can get is something like 4 MOA. Because remember, when you got like a 7.5 inch and your cartridge is about 2 inches, the bullet is only traveling about 5.5 inches down the barrel. So and I've tried it on my 7.5 inch barrels. I've tried other people's 7.5 inch barrels with different types of ammunitions. It's really hard to even get to 3 MOA. Okay, so that's why I took one of them and I said, okay, because I had like 3 of them. I took one of them and I put this 13-inch barrel on it, and it really made this an awesome gun, right? When I upgraded this to the 13-inch barrel. Now, one of the things I did is I put the Core Valley linear comp, which is great because it sends more of the noise downrange. AR pistols are notorious for being loud and very flashy. Okay, so the linear comp, in combination with the gas system on this being like tuned at the very low end. Now on this one, I did not need to put an adjustable gas valve. Just the way it worked out, it's basically ejecting like the steel case at like 5 o'clock and the brass at like 4 o'clock. So what that means is that the action is delayed enough so that the bullet and the noise have time to get out the front end before the port opens up. Okay, so with AR pistols, which are very loud, okay, if what you want to do is you want to gas it so that you're running with as low gas as possible to delay the bolt moving, so more noise gets downrange. Now, when I shoot this at night, it looks like a flamethrower. Okay, so this linear comp, this Core Valley linear comp, does not reduce the muzzle flash at night. In fact, a lot of times, even in the daytime, if I'm shooting fast, I'll see the muzzle flash. Okay, so this is flashy, but this 13-inch, it's really nice. It's very handy. I've had women shoot this. Women love shooting this gun because it's not front heavy, and it's just an excellent length. It's definitely, if you have like a couple of 7.5 inch ARs and you find that you're not you're not satisfied with them, it's not working for you, it's too loud, it's too flashy, consider getting a 13-inch barrel. Okay, because it's just going to turn the gun into something that's really fun to shoot. Now, with this being 13 inches, if I start loading stuff on it, right? If I start putting like a bipod over here and lights on it, it does start. It's better than the 16-inch, right? When you load that up with stuff, but it does start getting a little front heavy. Okay, so on my 11.5-inch over here, what I found is that this is like a perfect length where I can put I can keep like a permanent bipod on this. Okay, I can keep a permanent rifle light on this with a pressure pad, and I mean it's obviously it's a little bit heavier than that, but the fact that this is just like the barrel on this is a little bit shorter, it's manageable. Okay, so this is a good like if you're looking for an AR that you want to keep permanently like loaded with a bipod and a light, pressure pad, magnifier in the back, the 11.5-inch is a great candidate. Now on this one over here, what I also did is I've got this Spitfire muzzle. Actually, it's a Spitfire linear comp. So this is same as this one's got a Core Valley on it, right? Which was like a $30 one. With this one over here, it works great, but like I said, with that you can see muzzle flash. With this one here, with the Spitfire linear comp, I've done videos where I'm actually shooting this 11.5 inch, which is shorter than that one, shooting this at night, and you can barely see the muzzle flash. Okay, so the fact that this linear comp is bigger, you know, it's able to absorb that muzzle flash a lot better. Unfortunately, this is discontinued. You can't get it. I suspect that they discontinued it because it might be a little bit too much like a suppressor. So I think that's the reason why they might have discontinued it. You know, I've tried shooting it without any ear protection. It's a bit uncomfortable, but I can comfortably shoot this with the little ear cushions, right? With the earplugs. I don't need to have full muffs on this. Little cushions. It works great. I've had this out to 500 yards. At 500 yards, you can actually hear the bullets whistling down range. Okay, so normally if I'm shooting like a 16-inch, the bang from the muzzle, it's usually loud enough and the echo lingers so that I really can't hear the bullets whistling down range from my position behind the gun. Well, with this linear comp here, it quiets the gun down enough, right, and it controls the bang at the muzzle in just enough so that I can actually hear the bullets whistling down range. So for the $150 that they were selling this for, this is an excellent device, especially on an 11.5 inch. And like down the road, if I get a suppressor, I mean, this is, I think, the size that I would want. This is like a 3-inch muzzle device here. I mean, yes, I know that a longer suppressor is going to work better, but then you start getting into, okay, too much weight up front, too much weight on the gun. So I think like 3 inches is is a good size. So that's one of the things I've been able to kind of figure out with this setup here with this linear comp. I think this is as big as I want to go on a suppressor down the road. Okay, so. Like I said, I've had this rifle, both of these rifles, out to 500 yards, and I've been able to get well inside of 20 inches, right, at 500 yards, because the average man is about 20 inches wide. So I think I get something like 15 inches. I've hit like 15 inches at 500 yards. Now, in order to do that, 6X Vortex magnifier in the back. I know that Holosun is now making a 6X. Haven't had a chance to try it out. I'm sure it's just as good as the Vortex, but yeah, I've got a Vortex, works great. Now, really important over here, the red dot is the Holosun 503G. Okay, so this has a built-in bullet drop compensator. Okay, so that's what allows me to, you know, make my shots out at 500 yards and have a good aiming point, because this red dot has like it's got an outer horseshoe, right, for your CQB, you know, target acquisition. It also helps with the range estimating, right, because you could use that like a 65 MOA circle. I've done separate videos on how to range estimate with a 65 MOA circle. So it's got the 65 MOA horseshoe. It's got a chevron, so you would basically zero at 50 yards. You get your second zero at the tip at 200 yards, right? So the bottom of the legs, that's 300 yards. The first dot is 400 yards, the middle dot is 500 yards, and the last dot on this is 600 yards. So this reticle here will get me all the way out to 600 yards using this setup. Now, you're not gonna, if you look at it without the magnifier, you're not gonna be able to see the dots clearly, right? It has to be used with a magnifier in order for you to really see the dots for the bullet drop compensator. But for CQB distance, you flip this off, and basically you use that horseshoe to get on target. So other thing I got on this, I've got a fast loop sling, which I've got bungeed up over here. I've got the Magpul low profile sights, and I've got like the front one there and the rear one here. Okay, because again I got the magnifier back here, so this is a good spot for, like, again, an emergency type of situation. Got the pressure pad over here, zip tied. Now this is a hybrid rail, so there's no Picatinny over here, which lightens up the rail a little bit, but this is a great, I can still put the pressure pad here. And I've got the I think it's topic can, one slot bubble level here, which really helps like when I'm shooting at distance to make sure that my gun's not canted. Basically, you want to, when you zero the gun in, especially when you're shooting at distance, you want to maintain the same cant from when you zero the gun and also when you're shooting at distance. It makes a difference because if your cant is off, I mean, even if right, picture this, right? This is your line of sight over here. There's your barrel. If you twist it like this, right? You see how that works? Well, that can, if you rotate the gun, you can be off by as much as 2 MOA. Okay, so from whatever you zero in, you have to maintain the same cant when you're shooting at distance. Okay? So this 11.5 inch is really excellent if you want to load this up the way I have it loaded here with bipod. You're going to need some type of a linear comp. This is a really good one. It's also a little bit heavier because you could use the lighter one like I have over there, but that's going to give you muzzle flash. This one over here eliminates the muzzle flash. You got a rifle light here, red dot, magnifier, pressure pad, flip up sights, bubble level. So all this, because all this stuff is extra weight, on an 11.5 inch, this is really, really handy. Okay, so on the 13 inch that I got here, when I tried putting all that stuff here, like I've had like the lights, I've had the bipod on here, the gun starts getting a little bit heavy. So this is a great gun to shoot like this, or just put a magnifier on the back and shoot it bagged. So the 13 inch is like, it's really, really, really handy like this, right? Because right now this is a very light gun. I train women on this all the time. They love shooting this, not front heavy. So again, this is a reason why I think that, everybody should have 11.5 inch and everybody should have a 13 inch, because it is a, just such a handy gun over here. Let me get, actually I forgot to get my earmuffs. Let me get some earmuffs and we'll shoot off a couple of rounds here. All right, so we're gonna shoot this 13 inch here. So again, this is a very light, excellent gun. This 13 inch over here. I'm surprised that the 13 inches aren't more popular. A lot of times people get like the 14.5 or something, and they'll do like the pin and weld. I'm like, why the frick bother with any of that shit, man? Just use a brace. Just get because this lower here is, it was bought as a pistol lower. So practically speaking, I mean, I wouldn't have said this before we completely won the pistol brace case, but practically speaking, there's no functional difference between this, the brace and a stock. Okay, so by all means, get yourself a pistol lower, and then you can build out, whatever length upper you want. And I would definitely consider, I definitely recommend if trying out a 13 inch over here. The 13 inch is a little bit less common. You probably have to buy the barrel separate and like swap it into like one of your 7.5 inch uppers, and that's really, a lot of times that's a really cheap way to get it, because you can get a one from Palmetto, right, a 7.5 inch, get it on like their daily deal, and then just basically change out the barrel, and that it's easy enough to do lots of videos on how to do that. On the 11.5 inch, you can just buy this ready to go, because that's something that's very commonly sold. Okay, but yeah, very much recommend these 13 inches. I think the 12.5 tends to be something that people talk about a little bit more frequently, and that's fine. This one over here just happened to be a 13 inch, and it works great, and I love it, and it's fun to shoot. So if you do not have a 13 inch, or if you've got like a bunch of like 7.5s, you may want to consider just changing out the barrel. Now, what I did with this one over here, because initially the rail on this was a little bit shorter, I just got like I was able on Optics Planet. I was able to get a Prisma rail. I think the rail with the barrel nut was like $30. I did a video on that. So really, really cheap, easy upgrade. Right, got me up to 13 inches, and now this is like because before when this was like a 7.5-inch gun, I was like, 7.5 inch kind of sucks, not accurate. You know, with this thing, I've hit like 1.5 inches with it. You know, at 100 yards, I've had it out to 500 yards. So definitely, you know, like I said, if you've got a bunch of 7.5 inch and you don't shoot them that often, consider upgrading that barrel. You know, to somewhere between 12 and maybe 14.5 inches. Okay, so drop some comments. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you soon.